welcome back to the channel of Pro Enzo Vids, and this afternoon's video is my round 24 tips for 2024. And yeah, look, the rounds are definitely getting lesser and less by week, and yeah, we're getting very close to finals footy, and yeah, same story as last week. Some clubs are playing for a top 4 spot, some clubs are playing for a top 8 spot still. I mean, the 8's obviously nearly finalised, but there's some clubs playing for a top 8 spot, especially for that 7th and 8th spot, I reckon. And yeah, there's some clubs that just try and play for pride, really, and just try and end their season on a good mark, I guess you can say. So yeah, that's how the competition's looking at the moment. But round 24, so yeah, round 27 is not too far away. The regular season does come to a close very soon. But before I get to my round 24 tips, please be sure to like this video and do subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, so got to my goal of 4,600 subscribers. I guess the next road for a goal, I guess you could say, is 4,650. That's my next goal. But yeah, end of season goal 5k. Like, I do hold out optimism that 5k is possible by the end of the year. So again, do subscribe if you haven't already, but more importantly, enjoy my tips and enjoy the video. But yeah, round 24, it's gonna be a big one, and it kicks off with a big one too. So yeah, on to the opening blockbuster game for round 24. It's the Panthers versus Storm at Bluebet Stadium there in Penrith. So look, obviously a big game, and I guess these are two clubs that everyone has in their grand final for this year. It's pretty obvious that this is the, I guess you could say, most likely grand final, but I really do hope that one of these teams do not go, yeah, as far as what people make it out to be. But yeah, look, a lot can happen. Anyone can upset anyone these days, as you can see. But yeah, look, this will be a good game. This will be a huge game for both sides. Both clubs have some players out, but yeah, some do return for both sides as well. So for the Panthers, first of all, and that win against Parramatta last week was huge. Like, I thought Penrith were gone after the last 20 minutes remaining of the game. Like, I thought Penrith were gone, but no, they just literally scored try after try after try, and then wow, come back. Reminds you of the grand final from last year. But yeah, that's how good Penrith actually are. And for Melbourne, yeah, Melbourne obviously a bit patchy, but had enough in them to beat the Rabbitohs after that loss against the Dragons the week before. But the teams for both sides, so for the Panthers, it seems like that Dylan Edwards is named in the reserves, so I think Edwards will be a late inclusion. He'll probably come in for Dane Laurie, if anything. Fisher Harris is also back from injury, so having James Fisher Harris is huge for the Panthers. And yeah, Liam Martin's out with suspension, so the back row was Liam Henry and Maverick Geyer. And yeah, that's the most notable changes I can think of. And Scott Sorensen, who has a hamstring injury. And for the Storm I think have mostly the same team. I think Elijah Katoa is back, but in the back row, so that's a big in for the Storm. But yeah, overall that Storm team seems to be mostly the same, actually. That's it for this game. Very tough one to pick, but I will tip, you know what, I'm going to tip the Storm. I think Storm will win. I like what the Storm have. Liam Martin, in my honest opinion, is a big blow for the Panthers. Even with Fisher Harris and Edwards back, I think Panthers will still be competitive, but I don't know. I feel like Storm will be desperate, you know. I know Storm haven't been in the best of form as of recent, but it's every time they get knocked down, they come back up with a bit of a, you know, purpose to play for, which I think will happen on Thursday. So I'm tipping the Storm to win 1-12. First try scorer, give me a Panthers player, but I'll go Isaac Tungo first try, and anytime try scorers, I'll go with Will Warbrick for the Storm, and for the Panthers, I'll go with, let's go with Edwards if he plays. Right, on to the first game on the Friday. It's my boys Manly up against the Warriors at 4 Pines Park at Brookie. So, yeah, I'm also seeing that it's going to be another sellout at home. So that's so exciting. Like, honestly, it's just so good to see the community get behind the boys this year. Selling out nearly every home game pretty much, apart from the one against Canberra. That was also a 6 p.m. Friday game, which was wet. And it could be wet on Friday too. Never know, but anyway, it looks like it's going to be another sellout, so that's so exciting, and hopefully a good Friday does come ahead for me. But yeah, look, obviously the Warriors were unlucky to lose to the Dolphins last week. They should have honestly won, I reckon, but I tipped Dolphins, but Warriors were very unlucky. So, and their team is pretty strong this week. They've got a couple of big names back in, like Montoya Johnson, who's back. Yeah, back from the first time he announced his retirement, so I'm sure SJ will play with some purpose on Friday. And yeah, Wade Egan's also been named as well, I think. So yeah, look, obviously Warriors have got quite a strong team, so I wouldn't take them lightly, to be fair. Manly and Warriors always have close games. But the team list for both sides, so for Manly, looks like that this week, with Josh Elliott back, he starts at prop, and Nathan Brown goes to the bench, and Toff simply drops out. That's the only real main change, but there's also Tolu Kola, who's named as 18th man, so don't know whether Tolu will come in late or not. I don't know what they'll do there, but quite exciting to see that Tolu's now going to be available very soon. So that's our changes there. For the Warriors, SJ back at halfback, so that means T. Murray and Martin drops out, and SJ and Harris DeVita are the halves. Montoya back on the wing for the Warriors too, with Ali Tower out, and Adam Pompey's in too. I think Adam Pompey has had a good season, despite a really bad year for the Warriors, I reckon. And that's mostly their team. Wade Egan named as well. So look, obviously, big team, the Warriors. So hopefully Manly don't take them too lightly. I really hope not. But my tip for this game, I will back Manly. I think Manly know that their purpose is to still lock in a final spot and chase a top 4 spot, which probably is a bit out there, a top 4 spot for us, but definitely not out of the question. So I'll tip Manly on 1-12 because it might rain. So I think it'll be a close game than we all think, but it could blow out. But I think it'll be close. Manly by about 12, so 1-12 points. First try scorer, I'll go with Lehigh Hopewade. And anytime try scorers of both sides. For us, I think Brooksy will score again. Brooksy 4 weeks in a row, make it happen. And for the Warriors, I'll go with Dallin Watene-Lesniak. Now onto the main game on the Friday. It's Roosters versus the Eels at Allianz Stadium. So the last time these two sides played, it was actually a really classic game, actually. Parramatta were right in it, and the Roosters were too, and Roosters won in the end, I think, in a high-scoring game. But since then, obviously, Parramatta have really dropped to a new whole low, and the Roosters have been, okay, winning games, but definitely conceding a bit more points than they'll like to. So I think they have to work in their defence, as do Parramatta, but Parramatta are just, not really in a time or space frame to really bounce back from anything at the moment, in my opinion. But look, they were close to being Penrith, very close, but look, I think that choke sums up their season, put it that way. But for the Roosters, they had the week off last week, and they beat the Dolphins the week before. So, they'll be fresh and ready to go back at home. So, for the Roosters and their team, 1-17, no real changes. And for the Eels, Kelma Tanagi's back in the team, so he does replace Matt Dury off the bench, and that's about it for the Eels. Nice and sweet. I think Roosters win 13+. I think Chooks will be too good back at home, all fresh and ready to go. First try, Dom Young. Anytime try scorers for both sides. James Tedesco will score a try, and for the Eels, I'll go with Blaise Talangi. Moving on to Super Saturday, the first game of 3. It's the Bulldogs versus the Dolphins at Bundaberg, actually, at Salter Oval. So, traditionally, the Bulldogs do take a home game to Bundaberg every year. I think it's been happening since 2022 or 21, I think. I think 2022, that was the first game against the Cowboys, but since then it's been Dolphins. But look, obviously the Bulldogs, as of recent, have been playing great footy. They are definitely playing finals now after that win against the Dragons last week. So, I'm sure they'll go to Bundaberg away from, New South Wales with a lot of confidence. And, I think would like to extend their, wishes to make the top 4 still. As for the Dolphins, the Finns are definitely a funny side, actually. They've been playing good footy all year, but very inconsistent still. But I think they'll be up for this game because, it's in Queensland, but not only because of that. I think they'll have a lot of confidence beating the Warriors in a goal-and-point game like that. Great game too, so I'm sure they'll be out to get some, get another win, back-to-back wins in a row, but the Bulldogs will be tough no matter what. So the teams for both sides, for the Bulldogs, with one change only. Jamin Salmon comes on the bench for Lehigh Hopewade, who drops out. And for the Dolphins, Mark Nichols is out with concussion, so that means Lachlan Hubner comes on the bench, who is our second gamer for the Dolphins. My tip for this game, I think the Bulldogs will be too good. I think the way they're playing is just so hard to not back them, I guess you could say. So, I think the Bulldogs will be a bit too strong for the Dolphins on the Saturday afternoon. So, Dogs to win, 1-12. First try scorer, I'll go with Bronson Jerry on a try-scoring streak at the moment. And anytime try scorers for both sides. For the Bulldogs, I'll go with Josh Adokar this weekend, and for the Dolphins, I'll go with a back rower. I'll go with Connelly Lemuelu. I think this is the week he'll score. Alrighty, on to the next game now. It's the Cowboys versus the Raiders at Queensland Country Bank Stadium up there in Townsville. So look, I don't know what happened to the Cowboys last weekend. So basically after that Raiders-Manly game, I went back to the hotel and saw a brief bit of the game. And I just saw the full-time score, and I was just so shocked to see what the full-time score actually resulted in a Broncos blowout. Because, Cowboys playing for such a special reason, I guess you could say, for Carl Webb and the jersey that they were wearing. It was all Cowboy themed, pretty much, like all in a Cowboy sort of environment where they should win. But credit to the Broncos, that they'll obviously crapped on all of last week, and they really did, turned up for each other and played really well. And but I'm sure Cowboys will be hurting, and I'm sure Cowboys, back at Townsville, they will not deliver that same performance again. Like you'd like to hope not anyway. But yeah, the changes for both sides and their teams. So for the Cowboys, there's one major change. I think this is a change that most fans would be quite happy with. Chad Townsend dropped to reserve grade, so that means Jake Clifford is playing halfback with Tom Dearden as the 5'8", obviously. Nene is out with concussions, so that means Kuli Filiaki starts in the back row, and Thomas McHaley joins the bench. As for the Raiders, a couple of changes. Jordan Rapana is out with concussion that he got last week against us. So that means Seb Chris to the wing, Ethan Strange to the centres, and the halves are Adam Cook at 5'8" with Jamal Fogarty. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and Daniel Levi and Emre Gulo joined the bench for Canberra too. This will be I reckon this will be a close game, but I think Cowboys back at home, after that embarrassment against the Broncos, I think they'll be eager to get a win for their fans, I guess you could say, and another win that could definitely help them secure a final spot. So I think Cowboys win by about 6 points in a close one, but the Cowboys will win. First try scorer, give me Murray Talangi, and anytime try scorers of both sides. For the Cowboys, I'll go with him, Lukey, and for the Raiders, I'll go with Seb Chris on the wing. Now on to the last game on the Super Saturday there. It's between both the Tigers and the Rabbitohs at Campbelltown Sports Stadium. So I think it's the first time the Rabbitohs are playing at Campbelltown since 1998, I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere in the 90s. That's the last time the Rabbitohs actually played a game in Campbelltown. So, I'm sure that's going to be quite a historic moment when the Rabbitohs do play there again on Saturday. But, it's kind of funny how, how not far long ago these two sides played at Gosford. It was so, yesterday, it feels like. But it was at least a couple of weeks ago now, but it just doesn't feel too long ago when these sides last played each other. But anyway, the Tigers, not much really you can really say about the Tigers at the moment, playing some really awful footy and not really much of a team that's playing, for each other, I guess you could say. They had their chances against the Knights, they really did, but Knights were just too clinical in the end. As for the Rabbitohs, they actually had a fight and showed some fight and a lot of effort against the Storm. They definitely kept the score a lot closer than what most people thought, but that's credit to South Sydney fighting and staying in the game, and I'm sure we'll see that again this Saturday. So the teams for both sides, so firstly for the Tigers, Luke Lowley is back on the wing, which means that Solomona Alamalo goes to the reserves. Alex Seyfarth replaces Ruben Porter in the back row. Porter's been dropped to reserves, I think, and Seyfarth starts. And Sione Fainu is the new name on the bench. And also, Aiden Sears is good to go, apparently, despite any injury he got against Newcastle. As for the Rabbitohs, one change for them only, one change. Talis Duncan comes into the back row spot for Michael Cheekham, who is out with an injury. So, that's the only change for South Sydney. My tip for this game, I think Rabbitohs will be too strong. They should be too strong. I think Souths will get the job done back at Campbelltown. So I think Souths win 13+. First try scorer. Give me Richie Kenner first try. Why not? Richie Kenner first try, and anytime try scorers to both sides. For the Tigers, I'll go with Api Korosia at dummy half, and for the Rabbitohs, I'll go with Cody Walker. So now on to the first game of Sunday afternoon footy. It's the first game of two. It's between both the Dragons and the Titans at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. So, Yeah, look, I don't know. It's a very interesting game, this one, because I think both sides. Yeah, I don't reckon both sides make the eight, in my honest opinion. But I think for the Dragons, it's so important for them to win, because if they win, there's still a chance of making the eight. If the Titans win, there's still a chance as well. But I don't reckon Titans will make it. Not based on their for and against and whatever. That's going to cost them in the end anyway. But if they lose, they're officially done. So that's why it's so important, this game, I guess, for the the Titans and whatever. But yeah, they were very disappointing against the Sharks. I mean, really disappointing too. I mean, they were in some good form, the Titans, and then they just got absolutely clapped by the Sharks. So not good at all. As for the Dragons, after that amazing win against the Storm, I just could not back it up against the Bulldogs. Bulldogs outpowered them at home. I sort of saw it coming too, because yeah, the Dragons are such a hot and cold team. That's the makeup of their team this year. They're a real mental side of the Dragons. If they're mentally on, they can go and play really well. But if they're mentally off, they just don't play at the same intensity, I guess you could say. So both teams, changes for both sides. So for the Dragons, Jaime Sele is out with obviously that heart issue he had during the game against the Bulldogs. So I hope Jaime's okay, and he's likely out for the rest of the season. So terrible thing to see for Jaime Sele. Moses Sully's out with a knee injury. Excuse the cut there, phone died. But as I was saying, Francis Molo also comes in for Jaime Sele as well. And for the Titans, it looks like that Brian Kelly's back in the centres, which means AJ Brimson goes to the bench. And also, it's Kieran Foran's 300th game, so how good. Congrats to Foz. For a guy that's been injured for a large portion of his career, he's literally been so dedicated and resilient to keep playing the game of rugby league, and it's a huge achievement that should not go unnoticed. So congrats to Foz, and hopefully a good game for him on Sunday, I mean. But yeah, this will be a close game, I reckon. Honestly, I reckon it will be quite close with a high-scoring game as well, because both teams can't defend. But you know what? I'll take the Titans to win. I think Titans win 30 points to 26 in a close one, but a high-scoring game. I think Titans will do it for Foz, and I think Titans just will bounce back somehow. Like, I just don't know. Give me a coin, I'll flip it right now, and I honestly could base my result off a heads or tails result. But Dragons could win, but I'll go with the Titans to win. So Titans win them up to 12. First try scorer, give me I'll go Tyrell Sloan for the Dragons first try, and anytime try scorers for both sides. For the Dragons, I'll go with Ben Hunt. And for the Titans, I'll go with Brian Kelly in his return. And lastly, the last game, it's the Sharks versus Knights. They're in Cronulla. So, yeah, look, I think the Sharks, obviously, after last week, were just playing, great footy and never gave the Titans a chance. And, yeah, I mean, they're playing Knights now, who are obviously a team that did well against the Tigers last week, but definitely only playing Tigers, you're guaranteed to win nearly every time now. But yeah, the Knights obviously were quite good last week, so they do play a tougher side in the Sharks now, in the Shire especially on a Sunday arvo. So it will be a challenge for Newey, but I'm sure they'll be up for it. But yeah, Sharks obviously way too good for the Titans last weekend, and Knights were too good for the Tigers last weekend. So, you know, both sides have quite strong teams named, I reckon, but I'll tip the Sharks here. I think Sharks will win and win well. I just think Sharks, are playing footy that, I mean, up and down footy, obviously, but playing good enough footy for me to say that they'll win on Sunday. So Sharks to win 13 plus. First try scorer, give me Sione Katoa, the score, and anytime try scorers for both sides. For the Knights, I'll go with Dane Gagai to score a try this weekend, and for the Sharks, I'll go with Brendan Decora in the back row. But there's my round 24 tips for this weekend. What are your tips? Let me know in the comments down below. But I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good rest of the week.